Welcome to Zero Credibility Sports. It's me and Justin.
Hello.
Justin. All right. Let's get it. Let's talk about, let's start with football. So Zidane carried on his first match over the weekend. They got a 2-0 win over 18th place Celta Vigo. Business as usual or slow start? Or what does this entail? What do you think it will entail? Do you think it's going to be all hunky-dory for next season? Or
I don't know. I think, we spoke about Madrid last week. I think it's just, I don't know if hunky-dory is the right word, but this is a team that's in need of a rebuild, and I guess Zidane will be the man in charge of the rebuild next year.
Yep.
But I think what's real interesting about the first game wasn't so much the result or whatever, but rather the players.
Yeah.
He recalled 4 players that were out of favor under Solari.
Yeah.
Like Keylor Navas, Marcelo, Isco.
Yep.
And Gareth Bale. They all started.
Yes, Gareth Bale as well. Yeah.
So, those players were all out of favor under Solari, especially like Keylor Navas and Marcelo.
Yes.
So,
fourth appearance of the season. The fourth start. Keylor Navas in terms of the league.
Oh yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Because Madrid went out and bought Courtois in the at the start of the season, and then he just immediately replaced him. So
yep.
It was a Lopetegui signing. Let's not forget that Madrid started the season with Juan Lopetegui, and then became Solari, and now it's Zidane, all within the space of one season. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting because Keylor Navas has come out and said he's glad to play it, all that sort of stuff. And then the reporter asked him who's going to be number 1 this season and who's going to be number 1 next season. And his reply was he's not going to basically is that I'm not going to stick around if I'm not going to be number 1 next season.
Yes.
He's not going to sit on the bench. So I don't know. Madrid have 2 really good keepers. Navas is a good keeper. Courtois is a good keeper. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I'll obviously pick. I think I would pick Courtois because Keylor Navas, I feel like he comes off his line a lot. So a lot of the goals scored against him, he has a few mistakes. He's a good shot stopper, But when it comes to getting corners and stuff, I think Courtois is a bit more solid in that regard. So.
Well, yes and no, because Courtois this season has not been having a particularly good season. But then again, I guess you can say Madrid in general is not having a particularly good season. So it's very easy for when a team is doing bad for players to look bad. But yeah, I don't know. I think those are 2 very high caliber keepers. But if you look at it another way, if I was to want to buy a keeper, would I rather buy Navas or Courtois? And assuming we're at the same price, I would probably buy Courtois.
Yeah.
But that's because he's younger.
Yeah.
And also because I think he's better, but I think that's partially biased by the fact I've seen him play more because he played for Chelsea.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hard to say. Hard to say. But it'll be interesting. This will be, I guess, the first challenge maybe of Zidane's second time around at Madrid. Who's he going to make the number 1 keeper? Because I think from now to the end of the season, he can afford to rotate both keepers, right? Because Madrid is out of everything. Yeah, there's nothing to play for. So it'll be interesting to see the choice he makes, and then what happens to the to the player who is not chosen as number 1. Because I think if you tell Courtois, you're not going to be number 1 next season, he's going to want to leave. If you tell Navas you're not going to be number 1, he's going to want to leave as well. So. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I think I think because Keylor Navas is Zidane's guy. I think he's going to start with the players he knows. That's why hence Reguilon is back on the bench. Valverde in the bench. He recalled basically the Champions League winning squad of old. But I believe I feel that If both keepers get a fair chance, eventually, Courtois would come through. Because I feel like Courtois is just maybe 1 tier above, in my personal opinion. And I think now it's a great time for Zidane to really identify who's staying this year and what they need and who they don't need, right? Essentially. And I think it would be good if we could probably maybe we could go through what do we think they need. I think like as we discussed, they got two really capable keepers. So I think in that regard, I think that's solid. In the center back department, there's been news that maybe Varane wants to leave, and Sergio Ramos has his last straw with the president. So that's a bit of a area of concern for Real Madrid. So do you see any of them possibly leaving?
I think the thing with Ramos, I don't think he'll leave, especially now that Zidane is in charge. Yeah. I don't think Varane will leave as well, especially because Zidane is in charge. Like Zidane is, as much as I like to say he's not proven as a manager from a tactical perspective or whatever, the one thing that I believe that he's very good at is commanding the respect of the players. Yeah. And I guess if you want to call that man management, you can. But yeah, he definitely has a respect of the dressing room, and I don't know if you can say the same about the previous two managers. I think, come back to your question in terms of what do Real Madrid need for next season. I think we touched on this last week. Yeah, they need a player, as cliche as it is to say, they need a new spine, right? So all the way through from goalkeeper, center back, center midfield, and striker. I mean, center back, maybe not. Maybe you're right, maybe not. But I think regardless of players leave or not, this is an aging squad, right? This is an aging squad, regardless if Ramos doesn't leave or if Luka Modric doesn't leave or whatever. This is an aging squad in general. Even if they were all happy, they would still need to refresh the squad. So
do you think it's a big refresh? They need to sign 7 players?
I mean, the thing is, I don't think Madrid or many big teams can go out and sign 7 players and then be an immediate contender. I don't think that's how it works. I think you got to sign 1 or 2 or 3 because it's Madrid. But you sign 1 or 2 star names or whatever, and then you slowly refresh the squad over the next couple of years. Yeah. But they definitely need 1 or 2 big, young, exciting signings in the off season, just to refresh. You look in the middle, right? That Modric is not playing up to his standards. This is the World Football of the Year. The best player of the World Cup. Not playing up to his standards. He was also 30? I think early 30s.
31.
Yeah, something like that. Toni Kroos as well is not having the best season. Yeah, and you can say in the middle they've got people
like 3, Ramos is 2, Gareth Bale 29. So these are their last few years of their prime, kinda.
Yeah, although I think it's a bit different nowadays because players, I think in general, can tend to go for longer. Yeah. Because of advances in sports science and the way they take care of themselves and the way the club takes care of them and all that sort of thing. But I think regardless, there's still no doubt, that these players are, they're you need young, fresh legs to come in. Yeah. That's why I think, in the off season, Madrid will be in the frame for every big, big free agent that's out there or big player that's out there.
Yeah, I personally think
they need new strikers or.
Yeah, I know. I think looking at it, I feel like they've really signed Militao, so they got a new centre back. So if you look at their centre back department, I think they're pretty well stocked. They have Ramos, Varane, they have Militao coming in, young player. They probably could sign one more, so they could have a 4-player rotation. Then if you got Carvajal, who's still pretty still of age. Nacho, maybe not at that level, but a good backup player. Marcelo, maybe they need a new left back. Then you look through their midfielders. They're Cruz, Modric, Casemiro. What's your take on Casemiro? Do you think he's world class or maybe top defensive midfielders? The top 20, and do you think so?
Top 20, I think, I think that's for sure. But I think he's a sort of player that you need. Like, he's not flashy, he's not whatever, but he's a sort of player that you need. So I think he's a good player. I think he's a guy that you can build not necessarily build a team around, but he's.
He could be your first 11 kind of thing.
He'd be your first. He wouldn't be, for most fans or whatever, the name that jumps out on the team sheet at the start of every game. But he's a sort of player that every team needs.
Understood. I think after looking at the squad, I really think, like you said, like if it's Real Madrid, with the market these days, I think that they will be lucky to sign 3 really good, maybe 2 marquee players and a third maybe of a squad player of a sort. And like I agree with you, I think the place that they need the most reinforcement is goals, right? So they need a striker. And like you said, like we talked about last week, Mbappe, Zidane was flirting with the report about Mbappe, potentially coming in and him liking Mbappe to come in for the team. I think
every team would want Mbappe to come in, but I just think it's telling that they want that Zidane comes in, they start talking about him.
Yeah, but realistically, where would Mbappe go, kind of thing.
Mbappe is a sort of player that you would change your whole squad for, though.
Yeah, true, potentially.
But you would get him, and then you build the team around him. Like he's, I think the reason, like if PSG goes and says, "Oh, Mbappe is available," I think Real Madrid will be like, "Oh no, but where does he play in our team?" It's for some players, like Mbappe is not like that, right? It's about
definitely Mbappe. They definitely need, I think, a midfielder like you said, because Modric is 33, Cruz is 29, so they probably need a more dynamic midfielder. And maybe
in midfield they've got I like Isco, I like Marco Asensio. He's not quote unquote world class.
But Asensio is played on the left sometimes now. They play him further up because he's dangerous closer to goal. So I think like you said, I think 3 players, 2 marquee signings, and I think they'll be up there challenging again. They just need to replace, like you said, Ronaldo goals. They lost 50, 60, and they're relying on Benzema, who hasn't been the main focal, who has never been a main focal point for Real Madrid.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think Benzema does get a bit of a bad rep. I quite like him, actually. I quite like Benzema. Have for a long time. He's always been in the shadow of Ronaldo.
Yeah, and he's quite selfless. He's the one who takes up the most intention and passes the ball to Ronaldo to score or something. You know what I mean? He's he's always willing to drop deep. For build up, to help the build up play, and he's not always scoring goals. No, if you watch him play, he comes up. He can do almost anything. He can hold up play, can pass the ball really well, gets everyone involved, hit the ball, can shoot the ball. I think he's pretty. He's like an important player. He's like Bobby Firmino. You know what I mean? Like Salah and Mane score way more goals, but he's still important. He does a lot of the dirty work, in my opinion.
I mean, I wouldn't go as far as saying that he's, I know that's his narrative that he likes to put out, which is, oh, I'm such a team player, I sacrifice my game for Ronaldo.
Does he say that? I don't even know he does that.
I mean, to some extent, maybe it is true, but I think it's not to the extent that he likes to believe it is. I think pure and simple, because sorry. I think pure and simple, it's just because that his team is the team is built around Ronaldo, right? And Ronaldo's the main focal point in the team.
He never says it.
He has. In fact, you were the one that mentioned it last week.
Did I say Ronaldo? Like what Benzema said? I always gave up my goals for. No, I think he said I sacrificed for the team, but he never said I sacrificed so Ronaldo could score.
I mean, whatever case, that's no, but let's face it. That's what he means.
The positive qualities of him, he's willing to work for a team, just like how Bobby Firmino is willing to work for the team, just like how Giroud is willing to work for the France team.
I mean, let's not. I mean, Giroud is a much not as good a player as Benzema, or Firmino.
Giroud, put Giroud.
No, I like Giroud actually. I do think he's a sort of player that can work in a certain team, and he like put this way, right? If there's a player who sacrifices for the team or who contributes more or cares more about the team between Giroud and Benzema, it's definitely Giroud over Benzema.
Really?
Yes, 1000%.
Okay, I really do. Okay, let's not just get into this then. Let's not get into this. Let's talk about the potential signing. So we threw Mbappe. Let's say they need to get midfielder. Today, one of our very own, Paul Pogba, came out and said, every boy dreams to play for Madrid. So what does that mean? Does that mean he's leaving?
I mean, if he does, then he does. I don't think he'll leave this season.
I don't think so.
So, he's saying one day down the line he might leave for Madrid. And to be fair, I think that is kind of true for a vast majority of players, actually.
Yeah, especially all the European players outside the UK.
Yeah. So, I don't think that is particularly scandalous. So to me, it's kind of a non-story. The only thing that I hope is that, if and when he does leave, that United get a fair price, and that it's amicable, and it's not doesn't become a whole thing, which it could
go sour, hold the club, hold the club ransom, not willing to play. Yeah, we hope it doesn't go down that route.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's very scandalous what he said. I think, in fact, most players, especially like you said, if they're from outside the UK, they want to play for Madrid. That's just how it is.
You know what? What's going to be the most exciting bit for the transfer window this season? Real Madrid, to see what Real Madrid do. Actually, every season, every transfer window, one of the most interesting teams to watch is Real Madrid. So let's see what they're going to do this transfer window, this coming transfer.
I mean, it'll be interesting. I think this season in particular.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of teams will go for. Rather, a lot of teams are looking to buy.
Yeah.
For.
Buy.
Yeah, you got Bayern, you got Madrid, you got United. You have Chelsea. You have.
Chelsea been banned.
But they're appealing it. I don't know if they'll get it, but okay, fine. If you want to discount Chelsea, we'll discount Chelsea. But you've got.
But it's always, isn't it? Every year, most teams have to buy anyways. Anyone who finished second, third, and fourth generally have to buy. But I think
it's more like because of the refreshing the squad sort of idea, right?
Yeah.
Where they want this big young, landmark, to sort of kickstart their rebuild. The only team that will not be, I guess, in that similar position will be Man City.
Yeah.
Although there's that rumor that they're gonna sign that guy.
Yeah, Saul.
Yeah. So but the difference is for them, it's not like, how to say, they come from a position where if they don't make the signing, it's not desperate for them,
It's not the end of the world. Yeah, it's not like it's gonna, it's just beefing up the squad rather than getting the squad ready to compete. It's already winning.
Yeah,
so it's just
exactly
holding that position up the top.
Yeah. So Man City that year when they bought Kyle Walker, Otamendi, Benjamin Mendy, and a few others I can't remember. That was their year, when they're we're really building a new squad, right?
They bought Danilo crazy, man.
Yeah.
Silva.
Yeah. So they're not in that position anymore because they invested in that year. So this year will be interesting because, I mean, it's always interesting when Madrid, especially when Madrid are involved,
because
because
they're
that they're gonna, they're
yeah.
gonna make a big, it's gonna be a whole circus, right? It's gonna be a
always
whole.
Going to be Galacticos, it's always going to be like a play for one of the top 5 players in the world at that very moment in time.
Yeah, exactly. And they didn't do it last year. So they'll be out in full force this year.
Yeah, of course. After, I would like to think, a horrendous season. One of their worst seasons in many years, actually. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could. I guess you could say that.
Yeah. So, I guess, shall we move on?
Yeah.
On to B-ball.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go with your question. Are the Warriors a lock to win the NBA this season? The NBA championships. They've been shaky in the past 10 games. Yeah, they have, but I still think they're like, I think looking at the competition down the West, I think, and the East, right? I don't think they really have to be worried about anyone in the West, in my opinion. I think their biggest opponent will be whoever comes out the East. You know what I mean? You know how like before, in previous seasons before, it's like whoever comes out the West would win the thing because of the disparity in quality. But I think now, really, for the Warriors, their toughest opponent will come from the Eastern Conference Final winner.
I mean, I can see that. I mean, I guess the reason that I was asking the question initially was because, aside from the game they won today, and I said they won, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, but the previous 10 games before that, they were a bit shaky. And then my question was essentially like, are they really just not as good as people think they are? Because at the start of the season, throughout the middle of the season, even as recently as a couple months ago, everyone's saying, like Warriors gonna win NBA, Warriors gonna win NBA, Warriors gonna win a championship. But yeah, like I'm just not sure. I mean, I know it's a bit of a wobble. I know we're coming towards the end of the season. I know that players maybe start to take their mind off a bit, or they rotate the squad a bit to rest up players for the playoffs. But then you see other teams coming strong, like the Nuggets, they've come strong over the last 20 games. The Rockets, they look strong as well. So I mean, I guess my opinion is that the Warriors are still the favorite to win, but I don't know if they're as big a favorite as maybe people thought at the start of the year. But then again, maybe they'll win everything so easily that this is just like a stupid conversation. I'm not sure, but yeah.
There was a talk show that I was listening. There was a podcast that I was listening to, and some guy was just saying these guys are making all this bullshit up. Like everyone, the Warriors are making. Obviously, it's a bit like it's just a joke, but like I was listening to it, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I mean, like that could be a potential narrative if you think about it. Like they could just be making all this drama up about him and like Draymond and Durant and Draymond and everything just to so people give like the Golden State Warriors win a bit more respect. That's what they were talking about. If you think about it, right? Like if you simulate the fucking Golden State Warriors squad on 2K, I think
they'd win 9.9 times out of 10. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So you know what I mean? Like sometimes, like you remember last season, Steve Kerr came out and said, when the press kept saying, this was like expected, strong favorites, people would be crazy to think otherwise, and then the Golden State Warriors team every press conference close to the playoffs, they would say, no man, this is really tough, and I'm not saying it is not tough. But like I think sometimes you can understand that the team wants people to give it more credit. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's about giving the team more credit. I think it's more along the lines of when you're a favorite, no one really wants to be a favorite, right?
Yeah.
Like and you don't want to say, oh no, we'll definitely win the championship. Oh, we'll definitely win. Last season, even though it's very clear that they're the best team, right, and very clear that they would win, like then and I'm sure they themselves know that they're not going to go and say, "Oh no, we'll definitely win this year."
Hey, Draymond's been saying that shit.
I don't think.
Shit.
I mean, as a team, they're not gonna say that. If you ask Steve Kerr, he's not gonna say that, right? So I don't think that tactic, so to speak, is to make people give the team more credit.
No, I think they feel like they want more respect for their wins a little, or like a bit more respect for the challenge at least.
I can tell you, I think in all honesty, they don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit.
If you're a champion, why would you give a shit about what other people think? If they don't give you enough credit, it's like, yo, if you want to think that, fine. But I'm a champion.
I'm still a champion.
So what? I think they don't give a shit.
I think this is not the first. Last season it was. If you remember, like Steve Kerr came out and said, "Oh, everyone thinks this is an easy job because of the talent we have in our team." Obviously, I'm paraphrasing right now. But he basically was complaining about the media's narrative that it's too easy for the Warriors or something. I think he was unhappy about that. He was definitely complained about it last year. So I'm not saying
like maybe he's complaining or is saying stuff like that. But I don't think it is to say, like, I need you guys to give me more credit, for us winning. I think it's just more or less he just feels unfair criticism.
Yeah, I think he just wants to put it out there that, like, it's not easy to win an NBA game, which I think is true. No matter.
Yeah, but I mean, let's not deny that it's easier if you have a team like the Warriors.
True. I think it's more of like, this is more like fighting for the inches and stuff. But yeah, so no, I think their only like true obstacle would be the team that come out of the East, and then again that it might vary depending on who they face. And so I think a good question would be to ask, who do you think from the East will give them the best fight? Because who might give them the best fight doesn't mean they will make it out of the Eastern Conference Final. It's like sometimes it comes down to style, right, and matchups. But who do you think from the East will fare off the best against Golden State Warriors?
Honestly, I think it's the Sixers.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like, because I think when you think about them, and this is a bit. I know this is a bit of an off the cuff question, so I didn't do research about the matchup between the Sixers and the Warriors this season. I think the Sixers won at least one, if I recall correctly. Yeah. But I think that it's because the reason I say that is because I tip the Sixers to win the East.
Okay.
Because I think the Sixers have the all around best team. And I think of all the East teams, right?
Wait, you mean all around best team? You even mean the bench and everything?
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's that I think of all the teams,
Warriors 1-1 and 76ers 1-1.
Yeah, so I think of all the teams in the East, I think the Sixers can afford to have times when their best player is not having his best game and still win, right? Okay. So I think I don't think you can say that about the Bucks. I don't think you can say that about the Raptors. I don't think you can say that about the Pacers, even though I guess their best player has gone down. But still, I don't think you can say that about Celtics. So I think the Sixers, if Joel Embiid is not having a great game, they can still win off of Jimmy Butler. They can still win off of Ben Simmons. But if you want to think about it that way in the context of the Bucks and the Raptors, I'm not sure that you can say that.
Okay, fair enough. You go for them because of the talent spread, and
it's just that they have more options. Like the Bucks, I think everyone can agree are extremely reliant on Giannis.
Giannis, yeah. And
right. If Giannis has a bad game, I don't think you see the Bucks winning the tough games.
You think about it, it's basically like a not so good LeBron with better shooters, with better than average shooters.
I mean, the whole team in Milwaukee is built around Giannis, right?
Yeah.
So if the main man is not showing up, then everything falls apart.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe he will show up in every game. But it's unlikely.
I think 76ers have the best chance, and that was my answer as well. Because today I threw a bet against Ellison, but he didn't bite. So saying that I think that right now, after the trades and stuff, I think I've changed. My mind has changed. Obviously, I thought Raptors were going to come out the East, but I think now 76ers look good. They look really good. I think Joel Embiid has been solid as ever. If not, he's picked up a little from the start of the season. Jimmy Butler is looking like a very important player after what he did today with the dagger against Boston. Yeah, great team. I think they will come out of the East, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
They will give Golden State Warriors probably the most headache, and they will probably take one game.
1 game out of 7? You think they take one game?
1 game.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that, honestly. I personally think it's a closer matchup than that. But
bro, they haven't even gone into playoff mode with Boogie. So who knows?
But that's the thing, right? That's when they were going on their bad run, right? Recently, that was the question, right? Is that maybe it's them trying to integrate DeMarcus Cousins into their team. That's the problem, right? That's why they're losing games, right? Yeah. And let's not forget the games that they lost. They lost by a lot. They lost games by 20 points and stuff like that. And I'm not sure if that's because they're just whatever. This is just we're still going to end up winning the West anyway, even though it's pretty tight now. And they just didn't care, or when they took the foot off the gas a bit or whatever. But even Steve Kerr came out and was was not happy about the way the team is playing.
That was
so yeah, in terms of let's say it's the finals, 7-game series between the Sixers and the Warriors, I would be inclined to think that the Sixers can get more than 1 game.
No, 2 games.
I mean, 2 is more than 1.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but the thing that goes in the Warriors' favor is that they have pedigree. They have pedigree in winning the championship, whereas the Sixers, perhaps they lack that experience.
They haven't even made it that deep. They have never won the Eastern Conference Final with any of those players on that team. So
yeah, and they only made the playoffs for the first time last year. In a long time. I mean, after going through the process and all that sort of stuff. So these players are they're still quite inexperienced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here's a question. But you think Warriors are clear and away favorites in the West?
Yeah. I mean, there's always this news. Oh, they're losing. Have they lost their motivation and anything? We've seen this for 4 seasons. We've seen this for 4 freaking seasons. So I've seen enough to know that, bruh, this is not even top gear, not even close to top gear. This is probably their second gear. Yeah.
How about the Rockets?
You think the Rockets will? Dude, if the Rockets finish third, that means they'll face them in the semi-finals. The semi-finals of the Western Conference Finals. Nah, bro. I don't see it, dude. I don't see it.
I mean,
I think I would say now they'll probably sweep them, or Rockets will take 1 game, no more.
I just would love to see the Rockets. Rather, I want to see the Rockets play the playoffs.
Oh,
because
I would love
James Harden is still playing at a ridiculous level.
Will we ever get to see playoff Harden?
I mean, we will this season because they're going to make the playoffs.
No, will we ever get to see him go playoff mode, or are we going to see because he never turns up, right? He rarely ever turns up.
I mean, yeah, maybe you can level the accusation at him. But I don't know. Like I'm just so curious to see how he will be in the playoffs. He dropped 57 today.
Yeah, and he dropped 30 points on average 30 points against every team.
Yeah, and people are saying, oh, when Chris Paul comes back, it's gonna be different. She's gonna share the ball a lot more. Which in a way is true. He's taking a slightly lower volume of shots.
Yeah.
But his usage rate is still very high.
Yeah.
But to his credit, he's like, he's winning them games.
Yeah. I agree with you. You know what? Like after talking about it, because they came so close last year, who knows? The beard might have grown might have grown up from last year's experience from being really close. You never know.
This is a worse Rockets team, though. I think there's no doubt about that, though. It's a worse Rockets team.
Freaking doubt. But you have to understand as well. We also have to take into account, right? We have to factor that Harden has been going ham all season. Do you think he will still have left in the tank?
Well, yeah, except for maybe that part where they were losing a lot of games at the early mid part of the season. Yeah.
Yeah, but when he was scoring 30 points, he averaged greater than 30 points for 20 plus games or something. And now he has the stat of him scoring 30 points against every team. He has at least a greater than 30-point game against every team this whole season, which I think is a really impressive stat. Yeah, but
I do agree. That defense plays a lot more of a factor in playoffs than in regular season. I think that's definitely true. So
and Harden fouls, I think Harden fouls occur less if you think about it. Those those soft fouls.
Yeah. So I would think so as well. So I'm just very curious to see how he, goes in the playoffs, because, he's already defied one expectation this season, which is people saying that, oh, he can't do this the whole season and carry the Rockets to the playoffs. Like he'll break down eventually, or he'll cool off eventually. When he hasn't, he's still going. He's still going.
Let's analyze his play, the way he plays a bit. Don't you think, I know he's fast, but he's not breakneck fast. But if anything, he's just smooth. His change of pace, his footwork. I'm not saying it's not demanding, but it's not like De'Aaron Fox 100 miles per hour type of speed. It's more of a swag, you come close and I just do a quick 1-2 step, not explosive 1-2 step, but a smooth 1-2 step that bedazzles you, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, I just think that he's the best right now. He's the best sort of shot creator in the league, right? He can create his own shot. And
I thought you were about to say he has the best step back, and I was like, bruh, are we gonna go there? Really?
Well, he does.
He's got the best advantage. Yeah, he's got the best handicap. But yeah, sure.
He's the best. He can create his own shot. And it's a function of one being a great shooter, but two, it's also because when he has the ball, and I remember we sort of spoke about this quite a few shows back. In relation to Ben Simmons, right? Yeah. Where when he has the ball, he's a triple threat, right? Yeah. He can shoot, he can drive, he can pass, right? Yeah. Whereas when we're talking about Ben Simmons with, I guess he who shall not be named, because of your beef with him, but
there's no beef.
When we're talking about Ben Simmons, we're saying he's only a double threat. He can only do two things, but Harden can do three things, and he can do three things very well. So the fact that he can drive and get to the basket, the fact that he can, take a step back shot, the fact that he can, open up space for his teammates,
Can he pass really well though? I think meh. But okay.
I mean, it also feeds into each other, right? Because his ability to get assists is primarily driven by the fact that, when he drives in, he draws defenders, right? Because they know if he drives in, he's more than likely to score. So he draws help, and then you dish it to the open guy. That's I mean, if you think about it, it's a very simple concept, right?
But it's tough, obviously. Yeah. You get like these guys with 5 long hands, trying to swipe the ball out of you, and you have to get it through and then pass it off.
Yeah. So pretty much, he's a guy that can create his own shot, and because he's so good at creating his own shot, it makes him able to open up his teammates as well. So he's just I don't know. He's just he's probably the elite offensive force in the league. Some may say Giannis, this season, but for me it's James Harden this season. He's the elite offensive force this season.
Okay, shall we move on to the Lakers?
No, before we move on to Lakers, I want to talk about the Utah Jazz. Not because I want to talk about the Jazz, but because the Jazz did very well last year to get to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Right? Is there a Jazz this year in either the East or the West?
Wait, what do you mean?
What I mean is that I think the Blazers are flying under the radar, and I think they can make it to the Western Conference Finals. Whether they'll win the Western Conference is another matter, but I think they'll make it to the Western Conference Finals.
The Blazers.
Yep, the Blazers.
Yeah, they could actually. If let's just say they the Blazers and Nuggets win all their respective games in the playoffs, they'll face each other, and I wouldn't put it past Dame Lillard, who last week said he's one of the best players to ever play this game. Yeah, but Dame Lillard has to turn up then, because he's never really turned up during the playoffs. So you see all these highlights and you see all these numbers, but when it comes to the playoffs, people will just figure.
I agree. But let's not forget, last season when the Jazz made it through, they had one guy that broke out, and that was Donovan Mitchell, right?
Yeah.
But I think most people can agree that the Jazz went through based on as a team individually, they were not particularly outstanding. They had some good players, right? They had Rudy Gobert in the middle. They got Joe Ingles who can knock down a 3, and obviously Donovan Mitchell, right? But they got there purely because they played in a very good team ball in a system that they all were comfortable at. So, credit to Quinn Snyder, right?
Yeah.
I think the Blazers are similar this year in the sense that as a team, as a unit, I think they're quite good. They have 2, maybe one great, one good player, in Lillard and McCollum. They got Pascal Siakam turning up this season for whatever reason.
Siakam?
And
Siakam plays for the Raptors.
Oh, sorry. I got his name mixed up. But yeah, they've got some good players, and they've got players who are not spectacular, but players that for whatever reason are turning up this year. Even a player like Myers Leonard, who is not a particularly good player in general, has been doing very well this season because he's playing in a team with that, he's playing in a team pretty much that works well. So I think it'll be interesting. I think they're a dark horse to get to the finals this year, just because of the strength of their team play.
Fair enough. I didn't expect them to, be fourth in the Western Conference.
Yeah, same. I didn't expect. I can't remember. Remember we did at the start of the season, where people will end up. I can't remember where I put the Blazers, but I was not very high on them.
Yeah, it was me. But Lakers are oh my god, I don't understand anymore.
I'm pretty sure I put the Lakers in 6th or 7th actually at the start of the season.
The Spurs are 6.
I thought that the Spurs would make the playoffs this year, but no one believes me. But yeah.
Yeah, but I thought the Spurs would make the 8th spot, but he who shall not be named didn't think so. Yeah, I think it's a crazy time, right? It's so different now. It's a new era.
Not really. I mean, I think this sort of stuff happens every season in the NBA.
the Kings aren't
Sorry.
the West anymore.
Actually,
I mean, maybe
a big. Sorry, you go.
Since I started following, which is about like the year LeBron moves back. Look, the Sacramento Kings are killing it. My God, and the Nets are going to go to the playoffs. Like it's a bit of a new. I mean, I like to think it's a bit new, right?
Not really. I mean, it's not really new in the sense that maybe they're a bit unexpected from the start of the season, but the fact of the matter remains that teams like the Nets, right? Once they make the playoffs, they're not going to make any noise, right? I think most people will be able to agree with that.
True.
Like they're just there to, as sad as it is, to fill a spot. Like they're not going to make any noise. So, actually, Western Conference. Just before we move on to the next topic, or the last topic, Thunder.
Yeah. You think they'll drop out?
I don't think they'll drop out. They're too good to drop out.
Yeah.
And also, I think the Kings are too far behind anyway to sneak in. But, the Thunder have really fallen off.
Yeah, they have. PG-13 ran out of gas.
Yeah, at one point he was a leading MVP candidate.
I wouldn't say leading, but up there, definitely top 2, top 3.
Yeah, so a leading MVP candidate.
One of the.
But yeah, I mean, like having said that though, like the West is so tight. Only 2.5 games separate 4th to 8th.
Yeah.
So yeah, but still, you don't
want that 8th spot, man. You don't want that 8th spot. And you know what? I have a feeling when it's all said and done, it's going to be the Clippers.
I mean, I think so because they're the weakest team among the 8. I think that's pretty clear.
The Clippers made trades to make them weaker, yet they're still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then it becomes a question of, is it because of them or is it because the rest of the other teams are so weak?
True. Wait,
and I think
what does that mean? Do you think the East got stronger and the West in general got weaker?
I think if you look at the two conferences now and you were to say which conference is stronger,
still West, right?
I think at the very top the West is.
That's very top, exactly. But then in general, is the top the East would be quite strong, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, but I think at the very top, maybe put it this way is better. Like this imbalance that was very prevalent the last few years, it's pretty much even itself out now.
Yeah,
and LeBron fans are gonna say, oh, it's because LeBron's gone to the West. It's like, no, it's because the Bucks dropped at Giannis. It's because the Raptors got Kawhi. It's because the process is done and the Sixers are reaping the benefits of that. Like it's all those reasons, not because LeBron has gone to the West.
And then next year Knicks might get Zion and Durant might move over. It's going to be a strong East. Could be a strong. Yeah, you never know. And like AD moving the Celtics, you name it, man. Maybe the East would be a stronger.
I saw something crazy in the week about like the free agents that are gonna be available or potential free agents that are gonna be available this season. If some of them don't opt into their player options and all that, and man, it's crazy. There's there was Kevin Durant. Who else? Let me look it up. I saw it. But this is a great segue into the last topic, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Which you can introduce now.
All right, we're going to talk about the Hollywood Lakers next. But, we're waiting for Justin to come through.
Yeah, so there's Durant, Kawhi, Kyrie, Klay Thompson, Jimmy Butler, Kemba Walker, Porzingis, Tobias Harris, Chris Middleton. Yeah, I mean, a couple which are restricted. So Porzingis is restricted and... Yeah, that's the only one actually that's restricted.
What does it mean, restricted?
I think it means that the team that you're with has first refused to offer you the contract, and another team has to offer a better contract.
Fair enough. First option then. Okay. Let's move on then. Hollywood Lakers, me and he who shall not be named discussed this on who's to blame. But recently, there was an article written by Kazim of former Bleacher Report writer who took aim at Magic. So I want to explore more into this topic. Despite me and he who shall not be named, we had a attempt to explore this topic. So there have been a lot of memes coming out as well, stating that all right, traded D'Lo away, traded Julius Randle away, traded what's his name? Who's the center that was traded away to the Clippers? The hello?
Yeah, what? Sorry, keep going.
What was the Clippers, the center? Okay, they traded away the young center to the Clippers, and they, pick Lonzo over De'Aaron Fox and so on. And now people are looking at Magic funny. So do you think, what are your thoughts on Magic's contribution to the team's failures this season?
I mean, honestly, I don't know enough. I know that a lot of people like to blame Magic Johnson because he is, in some ways, the most visible, sort of upper management person they have. But and the reason I say that is because I remember I saw an interview with Kobe, or was it Shaq? I think it was Kobe, around player acquisition or something like that, and I think they asked him and I think what he said was, you should ask Rob Pelinka that, because Rob Pelinka is the general manager, and my understanding is in the NBA usually the general manager is the one that has a big say in player acquisition and in trade talks and all that sort of stuff. So I think Magic Johnson gets a lot of heat because he is the most famous person, he's the most known person. Whether it is he that is primarily driving the talks or whatever, or he that's primarily making the decisions, I don't know. So that's why I say I don't know enough. But I think in general, it's hard to lay blame. I mean, if things have gone wrong, or if you think things have gone wrong, it's hard to lay blame at the doorstep of just one person.
Of course, no, but what do you think he should take any of the blame?
I mean, if the team fails, the blame is given as a collective, right? Because I would think that those two are the two guys in charge of making the decision. I think failures are very, very rarely, especially at an organization, a guy that's saying, do this, and everyone does it. A lot of decisions are generally, improperly run, they're generally made collectively.
Okay. But Magic Johnson's job is pretty much the recruiter, is he not?
Well, that's why I say, I don't know enough, because my understanding is that usually the general manager is the guy that has a lot of say in acquisitions and trades and all that sort of stuff.
Magic Johnson's basically, his role is, if I'm not mistaken, president of basketball operations. Yeah, president of basketball operations. And so he and Rob Pelinka, the GM, okay, let's bunch them up. Both of them work as a collective for recruitment. So they're in charge of, who's the coach, who are the players that they're going to recruit. And although I'll give it to
like we have to state that Luke Walton wasn't their coach when but he is Rob Pelinka's coach. He's not Magic Johnson's coach, but he's Rob Pelinka's coach. And so first comes the coach, right? So what do you think? Do you think they should keep the coach, or do you think they should change the coach?
I mean, we all know. I mean, when it comes to the people that are on the floor in the game, right? We all know who's the real coach, right?
Yeah. I mean, but like this is still important, right? Who's the face or stands in that role? You know,
like the person that will determine who is the coach. I think the person that will most determine who is the coach is LeBron.
Yeah,
right? And they'll do whatever they can to please him, right? Because if LeBron doesn't like the coach, they're like, all right, we'll just go get a new coach, right? Because at the end of the day, the person that's really the coach is LeBron, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a bit of a, like, you can separate those two things a bit in terms of like the player deals and all that stuff, and
yeah,
like that portion and the portion of these are guys on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but still, then again, like with all these rumors, it's pretty much set. Like it's pretty much set in stone. Luke Walton is basically a walking dead man, waiting for a season to be over before he gets fired. And then now they're looking at there's talks on who's going to replace him, right? So there was
they'll replace him with whoever LeBron wants. Like it's as simple as that.
And so I just want to bring it up again. Do you think he'll bring back Ty Lue?
I mean, I have no idea, but they'll just replace him with whoever LeBron wants. But like I said, that's independent of, player acquisition, all that. The thing I don't like about the NBA, right, is that, it's so like revisionist, like in the sense that, people say, oh, you shouldn't have traded with D'Angelo Russell, right? Like right now, that's the thing for Lakers. But at the time when they did, right, I think most people did not see D'Angelo Russell as someone that would become an all-star.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, like, then again, he also like snitched on his own teammate.
Was it D'Angelo Russell?
Yeah, D'Angelo Russell was the one who snitched on
Nick Young. Was it D'Angelo Russell?
Yes, it was D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, I mean, then too bad for Nick Young then. But to be fair, I think Nick Young got off well. But anyway, that's separate.
Yeah, he won on to the Warriors to win a ring. Maybe that was just like a thing that had to happen for him to move and win that ring.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So,
all right, since if you like the coach thing is not important, then surely this thing will be important. Which players are going? Which players are coming? And let's wrap this shit up.
I know. I have no idea, man. Like, everyone says AD is gonna go, but things are so different. Like things change like so quickly in sport, right? Like
especially basketball.
In every sport, actually, in every like major professional sport, though, things change very quickly. So I honestly have no idea.
I think in basketball, the transfer news is way more like out, like there's way more official news. There's Woj with always like reporting from the inside compared to like football. There's a lot more bullshit, I think, because I think it's just way more leagues and way more players. But yeah,
you think there's way more players in basketball?
No, way more players in football. So that's why there's like way more like Whereas in basketball, like whatever comes from Woj seems to be the truth.
I mean, sure, but I think, put it this way, I think the Lakers will definitely get a major free agent, just because of the fact that they are the Lakers. Yeah. Who that free agent would be, I don't know.
Yeah.
So whether it's one of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, like Klay Thompson, like I don't know who will be, but I think that they'll definitely land. I think that they'll most likely land one of them, just because of the fact that they are the Lakers.
I think they need to win. Like let's just say if the Warriors stay the same, I don't see anyone going to the Lakers will make a difference. But if Durant leaves to somewhere else and not the Lakers, who do you think that will go to Lakers will make them compete?
It's got to be Kyrie.
It has to be Kyrie. Not Kawhi. I think Kawhi.
Yeah, maybe Kawhi as well. Yeah, maybe Kawhi as well.
Kawhi or Kyrie.
Yeah, Kawhi's a good call actually. Kawhi's a good call actually. And also we all saw it after the Raptors game. Yeah.
Do you watch actually yeah, do you think like LeBron has been just openly recruiting? Like, he keeps like putting like the shirt over his mouth and then keep talking to KD, AD, and then Kyrie.
To be fair, all players nowadays all put their shirts over their mouth. Even in football, all players put their shirts over their mouth at the end when they talk, and it's because of the media, right? Like they can spin anything.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him, but do I think that LeBron is actively recruiting players? Yes, but do I think that
he has been all his life?
Yeah, and every player does.
Yeah. I agree. I think. I'm so excited for free agency. Like, I really think, like the season's over. Who cares? I mean, there's nothing to watch from my opinion. Maybe if some of the big playoff games, like everyone obviously is still going to watch like the Rockets against the Warriors, even though I know the Warriors are going to win. You never know. I want to see playoff Harden, turn up. I want to see the 76ers, tear it up. I want to see Kawhi and Raptors go far. Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Cool story.
I think it'll be exciting playoffs.
Cool.
Hello? Huh?
Cool.
Who are you most excited to see? I mean, you said you want to see the Rockets in the playoffs. Then who do you want to see in the East come out of the East?
The Sixers.
True. Okay, 76ers against Rockets. I think that'd be a great finals. Okay, let's say if that happens, do you think the Golden State Warriors will stay the same?
The Rockets are not going to count the West over the Warriors, man.
Fair enough. You never know, man. You never know.
Okay, you're right. Maybe it's if someone breaks Steph's foot in round 1, and then in round 2, someone breaks Klay Thompson's arm. And then the next game, Kevin Durant, fractures his face or something. Yeah,
dude,
then maybe.
I'll tell you what's more realistic. Okay, what if Boogie just go in meltdown mode and just punch one of the Warriors star players? You never know, man.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the most realistic thing. Or Boogie goes wilds out in one of the playoff games during crunch time and loses the game. You never know. That thing could happen as well in a game 7.
But it's just one game. But if that happens, it's just one game, and the Lakers can win without DeMarcus Cousins, so it doesn't matter. I was about to say they probably won't even make it to game 7, so it doesn't matter. And that's probably how Warriors will get that one game. Say that again. What? I think the only ways Warriors would get that one game against. Rockets would get that one game against the Warriors is if DeMarcus Cousins goes on meltdown, and then Steve Kerr would just drop DeMarcus Cousins for the rest of those games, and the Warriors would roll through against the Rockets and everyone else. That's what I think will happen. But mark my words, Warriors won't drop a single game during the Western Conference playoff, the finals. I think they will. I think they'll drop a single game throughout their run in the playoffs. I think they will. I'm willing to put $1,000 on that. But they didn't drop a single one last year. I think they will drop a game this year. Okay, we'll see. All right. Shall we end the show? Yeah, I think. All right. Guys, thanks for listening. Goodbye.